Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. AMC Stock is up 4% at the time of recording this video, and purely on a technical basis, looks ready for another big leg up. Now, the things that we are going over are public information. Anyone with a couple dollars and internet connection and a cellular device or a computer could also look at this information. So all we're doing is connecting the dots. No, I am not a financial advisor. Come to your own conclusions. If you invest in anything you hear on the internet, you could lose all of your money. And I hope you guys know that. With that being said, quick disclaimer, let's get into this intraday update. We're going to look at the Ortex data. We're going to look at the Stocko Tracker data, talk about the technicals, talk about what is happening so far in the trading day that you need to know. And then later on at 4 o'clock, we're going to have our video going over everything from this point that happened until the end of the day, the last couple of hours of the day. But most importantly, what's going to be happening tomorrow, because tomorrow is also going to be a major day. So for right now, what is currently happening on the day? Well, not too much. Today is the first trading day of this week. Obviously, yesterday the markets were not open because it was Martin Luther King Day. A lot of things were not open, stock market included. Now, we didn't get economic data that came out yesterday. We didn't get any economic data that came out today. You did get bank earnings, and the story with bank earnings have been pretty mixed. Some have done well, some have not done well, but overall you've seen, profits taking a hit. You've seen credit losses rising. You've seen banks putting more money aside for future credit losses, and that's been a big story of the bank earnings, but it really hasn't driven this market in one direction or the other. Now, I will say a big thing that did happen today that caused these huge green candles. These were 10-point candles, guys. And the markets were not looking so promising at this point. But what actually came out, what the news was that the ECB, the European Central Bank, kind of like the Fed, right? Fed Jerome Powell, well, Europe's version of that, said that they were going to raise rates 50 basis points at the next meeting in February, and then raise rates by 25 basis points at the subsequent following meeting in March. And the markets loved it for whatever reason. Now, I say for whatever reason because our markets are firmly pricing in 25 basis points, not 50 for the next meeting. We're pricing in 25 basis points 2 times, the next 2 meetings, and then a pause. So I'm kind of curious why the markets took this bullishly. Obviously, it did get sold off, and you did get firmly rejected at $400. You got rejected at $400.23 on the SPY index, and that did subsequently cause a pretty aggressive sell-off. So I think that's going to be the cap to this market rally that we are seeing, even though the markets are trying to fight back a little bit right now. I personally don't think it will hold up. Slightly in the red on the day, down about 0.06%. Now, with AMC more specifically, if we go ahead and take a look at the live short interest of free float, sitting at 22.03%, the live short interest sitting at 113.5 million shares that are sold short. Cost to borrow average 137.18%, cost to borrow max of 341.38%, and cost to borrow minimum at 1.04%. I think one of the most exciting things about all of this information is the cost to borrow rates that we are getting from interactive brokers, because when you see cost to borrow minimum of 1%, cost to borrow average of 137%, you're like, where is it? Is the cost to borrow rates 10%? Or is it 50%? Is it 100%? Well, what we're getting from interactive brokers is over 100%. And it's consistently been over 100% for really weeks now, right? For a while now. And even a couple of weeks ago, it was in the high 90s. So you're seeing a very high cost to borrow rate, and that will help to squeeze shorts out of those short positions. Also, at the same time, as you have a record high short interest going back to June of 2021, the short interest has not been higher than where it currently is. You also have a lot of bullish positioning for the end of this week, and you also have just a lot of option activity for this week as well. If we take a look over here on Ortex and look at the open interest for the call side, 62.49% of it is calls or bullish. Puts 37.51%. So you're obviously well in bullish territory for the option activity. And if we take a look at the numbers of options, calls, and puts that are held in the money and out of the money, these numbers are huge, and we haven't seen numbers like this in a very long time. For this Friday, 48,000 calls that are currently in the money, 454,000 calls that are out of the money, puts that are in the money 141,000, and puts that are out of the money 160,000. So there's just a lot of option activity, and I do think that will fuel a big move by the end of this week. If you take a look at the technicals, guys, it is obviously no surprise that something big is coming. Like, this is a textbook setup to a big leg up. This is what we have seen virtually before any of the other big rallies in the past with AMC. Like, look, this is a perfect example of kind of what we're seeing now, right? And this happened back here in August of 2022. You got a couple good days, right, after hitting the low and bottoming out in this bottoming formation, bottoming process, whatever you want to call it, like we are seeing right now. You got a couple big green days, right? And you think, okay, I think the stock could rally some more. And then you start to get those 30 or 40% green days, even 20% green days is a very big candle. So you're seeing kind of the same setup now that we've seen throughout a lot of the rallies in the past. And I do think this does culminate to some pretty big moves coming by the end of this week, especially with the option activity. It's going to fuel a lot of that. So there is that information. As far as Bed Bath & Beyond, that stock, let's go ahead and pull it up. Last time I checked, it was up like 10%, give or take. Yeah, it's up 11.61%. Kind of has the same formation as AMC. It did give back a little bit more. You can kind of see this this top right here, and it did kind of fall a little bit. Kind of different from what we've seen with AMC. You really have not seen that drop the same way that you've seen with Bed Bath & Beyond. Also, AMC did not go up as much as Bed Bath & Beyond, so obviously a little bit different here. Ultimately, I want to be very weary of Bed Bath & Beyond right now, because if they do go into bankruptcy, there's only so much that the share price going up can actually do for the stock, right? They can try to raise shares. That's their best bet, but that's ultimately not good for the share price. If you take a look at this article, I think this is kind of funny. It says, GameStop and AMC hitching a ride on Bed Bath & Beyond's epic short squeeze. Despite being on the verge of bankruptcy, Bed Bath & Beyond stock has soared in the last week and has taken GameStop and AMC with it. Here's what you should know. The first major short squeeze of the year took place last week with Bed Bath & Beyond at center stage. GameStop and AMC were both able to ride the short squeeze wave, though their shares gains were more modest. Highly volatile trading activity has caused Bed Bath & Beyond shares to be put on the threshold securities list, meaning it'll receive extra scrutiny from regulators. And it does say Bed Bath & Beyond's insane rally. It's easy to see why so many thought the end was near for Bed Bath & Beyond. The home goods retailer recently reported awful third quarter results that missed market estimates across the board. Sales were down about 33% compared to the same period last year, and only $153 million in cash remains at the company's balance sheet compared to $1 billion in Q3 2021. So it's not looking so good for Bed Bath & Beyond. But it's also interesting with AMC. This day, what day was it? Let's not get the date wrong. It was January 13th. Bed Bath & Beyond dropped 30%, right? January 13th. And what happened January 13th for AMC? AMC actually went up 1% in regular trading and went up almost 3% in after hours trading. So even though Bed Bath & Beyond had a terrible January 13th, AMC did not respond in kind. So I don't think they necessarily have to be correlated, and that you have to see AMC come down if this rally ends in Bed Bath & Beyond, guys. So that is going to be all for this video. Stay tuned for the 4 o'clock video. That's going to be important, directly talking about tomorrow, because you got a lot of things coming out. You got retail earnings, you got PPI that will move the markets in a big way and can affect AMC as well. So thank you for watching. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. You guys know the deal. None of this is financial advice. It is free information. Most of it is free information besides Ortex. If you have a phone or a computer, you can access this yourself, and you can also contact a financial advisor if you are unsure of anything that is said in this video, or you need extra help investing and you don't want to lose all your money. That is it. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you in the next one.